I mean, why not? These are bao buns. I grew up with them with the roasted pork, and in trying to revamp the next menu, I feel this is a missing staple in Nashville culture, food culture. Food has always been a big part of my life. I teach culinary school. I competed on television programs. I was on Top Chef, Food Network star, and I've done a whole bunch of stuff in that genre of cooking and media. I own restaurants. My name's Arnold Myint. I am a chef, and I love to eat. Growing up in Nashville, I don't think I had a very traditional upbringing, you know, being born and raised as an Asian American in the South was a little different, considering my parents founded the Buddhist temple and we had an Asian restaurant. When I was born, my parents were, you know, in their second year of international market, and so my home was literally that store. I was in a bassinet at the beginning. I would be there all week long, climbing rice bags after school with a lot of kids in the neighborhood. Along comes my sister. All of our birthday parties were there. I would play with food with the ladies in the kitchen. My entire life would not have happened had it not been for my mom and for her steam table of rice, egg rolls, and chicken on a stick. Had it not been for her dumplings, had it not been for her vision of economical, approachable food that feeds an entire community.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
You want some? Okay.
Yeah, I did this.
มีอันนี้ไหมมีเกี๊ยวซ่าผักไหม Thank you. I'll put it there. Thank you. Growing up, my mom's family was quite poor. My mother grew up in the heart of Bangkok, Thailand. She and her 8 siblings and my grandmother and grandfather lived right outside the royal palace. They would cook stews and curries, and they had a market, and that's how they survived. My parents both came to America with a pretty savvy mindset, as we can see. You know, they found this little corner market that was run down, bought it for what little money they had, and transformed this area in Nashville, Tennessee into the thriving neighborhood that it is now. They introduced to a community new flavors that have never been around before, and they literally did that one plate at a time. Every person or every race, every age group, every political demographic, everybody loves coming to International Market. Every walk of life has met my mom.
I didn't realize how well-known my mom was in Nashville. Patty Myint is a legend as an immigrant and as a woman creating a business in the 70s.
She is probably one of the most dynamic people I've ever met in my life.
My house salad. And take me all day to prep this.
Okay, and what is it? Talk to
We
me.
have a, oh my God, coconut, lemongrass, basil, lime, grapefruit, ginger, garlic, so many things, about 30 things.
The James Beard House is an actual house in New York City, which was founded by a gentleman by the name of James Beard. It's grown to be one of the most prestigious dinner clubs in the nation, if not the world, where chefs across the country cook their hearts out every year, do things within food science, food culture, food art, writing, television, in hopes of getting a nomination of being the best of a James Beard. The James Beard House Director of Programming called me, and I had mentioned to her I was writing a cookbook with my mother, and she had suggested that once the cookbook came out for us to come in and do a promo together as a collaboration, mother and son, family ties. And it is a top honor for sure. I called my mom. I called her on Sunday afternoon. We're working on the book, and I was trying to get recipes down. The conversation was about an hour long. I was going through recipes, checking things off the list to make sure I know what I was doing. And I was like, oh, by the way, let's discuss this shumai recipe. Can you give it to me? So she gave me the recipe, and she was like, don't ever change this recipe. It's perfect the way it is. And then she said, be good, I love you. And we hung up, and that was the week she passed away. I started getting tons of messages in my social media pages, stories about how she touched families who grew up there and how now they bring their children to the restaurant, or how they met their girlfriend and had their first date with her, you know, cooking for them. And now they're married, and, you know, college stories and musician stories. When the new year came about, the James Beard House called me again to schedule our dinner, and I had to inform her that my mother passed away. Instead of being defeated, she suggested that I cook in my mom's honor. So I'm still cooking at the James Beard House. In order to honor her, I want to give back to her what she afforded me. In order to pull off this menu at the James Beard House, I want to be on the street where she was running around as a child. I want to taste the flavors, hear the noise, smell everything. All my senses need to be immersed into her life when she was growing up in Thailand. I'm going to Thailand. I'm going to the James Beard House. I want to cook the meal of my life. And my motivation and inspiration of every plate that's going to be put out there is my mother. In terms of the menu for the James Beard House dinner, what I hope to bring back with me are flavors, ideas, and inspiration that are not what we know in America or in the Western world as traditional Thai cuisine. I'm an Asian boy raised in Nashville, Tennessee, in a restaurant that had to acclimate to the demands and the relatability of the consumer. We had variations or fusions that helped introduce flavors to the market. In Thailand, the flavors are not even close. And it's not that it's fussy or overworked. There's a simplicity, there's a balance, and there's a different sense of awareness of flavor profiles and how to extract things that most Western chefs don't understand. That's the fried rice ball. Here's the sausage. You saw chili fly in there. There's kaffir lime by Makood. I see kaffir lime, the pig skin, cilantro scallions, king. She's been making this for 40 years, and now she's to pass it over to her daughter, who's making it for 14 years. She's gonna pass it on to her daughter, who's been eating it for how long? This is amazing. How crazy is that? Generation to generation. 40 years this. My mom had her restaurant for 40 years. I've had mine for 13. How pretty, see, soy mai. Every summer, my mom would plan this huge trip to Thailand, and she was still proud of her country and proud of where she came from, and really just wanted to share with us our cultural roots, just exploring and learning about food, culture, and, you know, the country. This whole corner unit is where my mom was raised. They lived upstairs, right up there, where the windows are. They would make curries, or Thai instant one pot dishes and literally sell them right here where this fruit vendor is to people that would get on and off the ferry, because this is a pier to go to the temple and also the pier to come to the royal palace. So basically, as people were coming off work, they would have bags of rice and stir fries and vegetables and things like that and sell them for pennies, because they were getting produce for pennies, and that was their livelihood. When you're raised with something and you grew up with something, it's just, I think there's a nostalgia in food. And for my mom, definitely, she cooked in America one way, but I could tell her joy being home and eating the authentic and full flavors that are her, essentially. A couple years ago, Belmont University, I know for a while they've been eyeing my parents' property. There's been many conversations throughout my childhood and life about them wanting to take over that block. And finally, Belmont bought the property from my parents. So in about a month, we will surrender the keys to the university, and the entire block will be demolished and turned into a performing arts center. Hey, for you, I want you to focus on the duck polo dish, all the components, and really kind of like, not just making it once, but I want you to like play with it starting from now. The fruit salad's gonna be really beautiful, but I'm gonna play with it today, so don't worry about that. I've got that under control. Let's jump to dish number 3, course 3. The homok, it's either pulsed or it's chunks of fish in coconut custard. And it's very grainy and it's gritty, and it tastes like an aggressive red curry. But my thought is this: if you want a traditional homok plow, just go to a Thai restaurant and order one. If you're going to the James Beard House and paying $180 a pop for dinner, people should taste it going, wow, they really took their time to do this. Like, I would never make this at home. So, do that. Great. I'm done.
That's just, I think it's a little bit too much for what he's trying
We are in Lower Manhattan at the new location of the Institute of Culinary Education, and we are here prepping for the James Beard dinner, which is tomorrow. I have my crew with me from Nashville. I have a classmate of mine from '04. I also have students that are currently enrolled here working with me too. So my crew is about 15 people that's prepping for this epic meal tomorrow. That's my internal clock thinking you should be done by now. It's a full production day. Everybody's all hands in, just trying to get things done. Quats, blood orange. Painted this picture in my head of what's gonna happen tomorrow for months, if not years. Yes, I'm cooking in honor of my mom. Yes, I'm cooking the flavors that raised me, that inspired her, that brought her to America, that made her successful. But on top of that, I have to create something that is memorable, that is signature Arnold, that people are coming for, and that they're gonna leave going, damn, that was like, he knocked it out. Good morning, James. These are the larger sections. 1, 2, 3. Soft-boiled eggs, and this is going to be the Nero crumble rice. So as soon as we see that, we put that there too.
74 is the guest count. I'll bring down the guest list and seating chart.
So that's, how many is that? 640 dishes we're making today. Course 1, citrus salad. If you focus on each individual dish that you're responsible for, we're gonna be fine. If your name is on the section, you're responsible for getting out everything that's on the menu and everything that I have listed here. If you do that, I can't be upset with you.
Okay. Sharp behind.
My mother, literally, she gets off work like any chef and we eat really weird. She goes home and opens a bag of potato chips and has a glass of wine. So actually the first dish is tom yum spice chips because of that reason. So these are simple potato chips, but we've had tom yum soup before, which is lemongrass galanga spicy soup. I dehydrated it and made a dust out of the flavors, kaffir lime, citric acid, chili, garlic powder. Egg and rice, that's pretty much all she needs. A hard-boiled egg or a soft-boiled egg is an everyday pantry item. The rest of the flavors are just things that I know that she really, really got off on. Like, not really to sell, not really to cook for people, but things that she really, really loved. The pork snacks, you know, it's street food. Who doesn't? But, you know, these are just things that really struck home for her. She loved pomelo. She'd sit at night, we'd watch TV, and she'd be peeling fruit, a little paring knife, and that'd be like my midnight snack kind of thing before bed. The braised duck pillau, I mean, it's just stew, normally of pork, and it's fatty, and it's dark, and it's rich, and it's sweet. There's a surprise element of pickle and tart in there, and it's just that comfort food for me. It's like, it's my chicken soup. I mean, it's just home cooking. I remember growing up, she made this one really funky dish at the restaurant, this red curry custard in little metal boats, and I didn't know what they were, but people really liked it, and exploring it more, I've turned it into probably one of my #1 signature dishes. All day. 25 more all day. $12, 6 o'clock. 12 o'clock. We have to sell these, so just make it happen. God.
All of them. All of them. Yeah, it's finished.
I feel like people are waiting for these dishes. This one has no greens yet.
Are we all done?
Have your drinks.
Cocktails here.
Please put our events together for Chef Arnold Myint and his entire team.
I'm so proud. The flavors were amazing and just, it reminded me of home and it reminded me of stuff my mom would cook for us and things she would feed us. It was great.
I have some white rice.
White rice?
Yeah, with some sesame chicken.
The usual. This Thai boy.
Today is the last day of International Market and Restaurant as we know it. In the fall of 1975, my parents opened the doors of their first market and restaurant. At the time, serving Oriental food. And they made $40. It was a hard sell. Today is the last day and we have lines out the door. We can barely keep up. But my sister and I have decided to keep the legacy alive. So I'm shutting down Boulevard, which is right across the street from International Market. And we're gonna start the slow process of moving things over and to rebuild into what will be International Market 2. Continuing the vision that was set over 40 years ago. Mom, thank you for this incredible journey and gift that you've given me, and for feeding so many souls, and for being mine. I love you.